Hi, this is Joelle. I just came on to share some guidance from the Magda-Lion Oracle. This is a deck that I've had for, I guess, a couple months now. And I drew some cards just prior to a trip to Mount Shasta that I recently went on with a beautiful group of women. And so I did not actually have time to read the card guidance because it had gotten rather late that night. So I left them out in order to be able to come back to the messages. And it looks like everything is in divine timing because there were several things about the trip that are already apparent and resonating from the images that were awaiting me when I came back to my home office here. So, this intention of this is to share the card guidance from the book and also some synchronicities around here, and it's for the people who traveled onto the journey into the higher heart with me in Mount Shasta. But of course, the messages reach those beyond any particular event. And if you are here listening to it, know that it is meant for you to hear in this now moment. Okay, so the deck that I'm looking at is the Magda-Lion Oracle, and the two cards that came out that I saw were Giving Birth, the Joy of Motherhood, and the Goddess Pele, Ignite Your Creative Fire. So this was, again, was like the morning of the 18th prior to going to Mount Shasta. So I thought it was interesting because, I am not a mother in this particular incarnation, and I'm very happy with that. But I experienced, the joy of birthing my ideas and creations, of course, just as any person enjoys taking something from nothing into manifestation. So I knew this was going to be interesting. And then the goddess Pele, Ignite Your Creative Fire. In the days prior to leaving, I had received several cards and things that talked about creativity, creative fires being ignited. So this was very interesting. Now, excuse me, what you'll notice here on this giving birth card, the imagery is just so beautiful. We have like this gorgeous blue, and we have the sacral orange here in this kind of seed. With so much in the colors, but what we notice here is that there is a hummingbird on this card. Now, what is interesting is that on our trip to Shasta, we stopped in well, we came into Sacramento and went to a metaphysical store there. I think it was called Sunshine for the Soul or something similar. I'll have the name of the store in the notes to this video. But one of the members of our group, Tanya, actually got a hummingbird at the store. Let me see if I can find the picture here. Nope, that's not it. Let's see here. Excuse the technical difficulties. It was this beautiful tree full of hummingbirds, and hummingbirds are her thing. Like, that's like her spirit animal. And so, of course, one had to come home with her. Now, there was also included in the hummingbird a charm and a poem here that says, "A hummingbird reminds us that no matter life's pace, stop for the flowers, seek out her grace. A hummingbird tells us life takes different turns. Stay resilient and open and continue to learn. A hummingbird shows us that our dreams are in reach, that small can be mighty, and life has much to teach." Okay, so beautiful, beautiful synchronistic guidance to go with our hummingbird. So I'm very interested to see what the card here guidance says. So the most incredible experience a woman can have is giving birth to a child. As a mother of three, I have fond memories of my children and giving birth to them. Breastfeeding is incredible. Being in the last stages of labor is painful. However, it is not remembered as pain because it is the pain that holds the intensity of transformation, alchemy, and the ecstatic bliss of holding your newborn baby, truly a gift from God. That was my experience, and I truly believe that there is no other experience in life that can take you so deeply into your soul than childbirth. This is because of the deep surrender that happens. You are no longer a service to self individual after becoming a mother. This letting go continues as your children grow up and move away to live their separate lives. From Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, it says, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life does not go backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might that his arrows might go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. Khalil Gibran. The art image for this card shows a veiled pregnant woman with a hummingbird. The hummingbird represents the joy of motherhood, and the morning glories reflect the glory of bringing through an incredible soul onto the earth plane through the divine vessel, which is your female body. As an initiation into womanhood, the veil over the pregnant woman's face indicates she is moving into a mystery, and the unveiling of this mystery leads to the experience of motherhood. Through all its joys and challenges, an alchemical experience happens that can transform her from a girl to a soul embodied, full on mother goddess of wisdom. Childbirth can also bring up unresolved issues with your own mother. Part of preparing the psyche for this experience involves reflecting upon your childhood. For some women, this could also bring up painful issues around their father and the loving male father energy that may or may not be present in her life. Single mothers may experience a great sadness or void if they do not have a partner or husband to share the experience with. If you are planning to have a child and you pick this card, then perhaps the time is coming soon for you to plan a family. You may have recently found out that you are pregnant or are in the process of contemplating having a child. Maybe you are considering having a child without a partner. Regardless of circumstances, your choice to give birth to a child is your own and guided by your soul. Be present with your soul and make your choice based upon the best for all concerned. You have the right as a woman to decide for yourself about whether giving birth is for the highest good of your life and for the life of the child. Abortion in some cases may be a hard choice, and the ethical issues around the subject is a difficult one. The choice should always be given to the woman. Conscious women who respect themselves will do their best to prevent an unwanted pregnancy from happening. However, sometimes life throws us a surprise that may be the nudge from the higher self. Whatever your relationship around birth and motherhood is, you pick this card to reflect upon it and to heal and expand your growth as a soul. It's so very interesting because the friend who picked this hummingbird up actually is a mother twice over and has a 27-year-old and a 10-year-old. So, like, her and her husband are this both of their children, same parents, and it is just a repeat of the cycle at a different frequency of bringing a child from nurturing seed to adulthood. And so the joys of that. And when the hummingbird appeared in order to give herald to the birth of this baby and the new era that was happening is so beautiful. So, and of course, Mount Shasta, it was such a beautiful place that was just an absolute, um, it was just like a beautiful space where so much was created in just the few days that we were there. I know that it will be giving birth to many things that were planted within our souls during that time. And of course, Shasta herself is like a Mother Gaia energy. And so giving birth to this planet of ours and this new earth that we are also giving birth to. Now, what I wanted to see is if I have morning glories in the botanical inspiration deck that I purchased not so long ago down in Gulf Shores. Let's see if there is a morning glory. I did not know what the name of that flower was, and so we'll see if it will come up here. Morning glory. All right. I'd have to look for the card. I won't take time to do that. Affection and determination. The morning glory, which blooms for a day, differs not at heart from the giant pine that lives for 1,000 years. So interesting because we went to the redwoods and we saw and touched trees that had been in existence for thousands of years on our trip. All right, each flower on the meandering morning glory vine blooms only for a single day. As dusk darkens the sky, the flowers all curl up for the night. The next morning brings fresh growth and the promise of yet more glorious flowers upon each vine. In the Victorian language of flowers, the morning glory, with its tenacious tendrils, was associated with love and affection. In Chinese lore, the morning glory symbolized the determination of two legendary lovers who resolved to meet even after their parents separated them with a wide river. The inspirational message: when life becomes challenging, remember the morning glory for which nothing is an obstacle. A fence or wall simply gives the tender but determined vine a new place to grow and another reason to climb higher towards the sun. All right, for the morning glory, adding its energy here to the hummingbird. Okay, so the second card, the reason this is interesting as well is because we have Goddess Pele, ignite your creative fires. And you can see here there's this like volcano, an eruption, and what appears to be lava flowing down into the ocean. To me, this looks like a figure of a woman then emerging from the water and the steam. Another interesting thing about our time in Mount Shasta is that there were references to the lava fire, which was still going on. This picture is from July 7th. And of course, it was not nearly that smoky when we were there, but there were still it was still a plume of smoke visible. And our guide was saying that, this was something that was natural as part of Earth's movements and the shifting of the plates and the shifting of our energy, release of energy through the fires on the mountains, that even though it was damaging to the trees, that there was a natural kind of balance in what was happening. So the lava fire, and here we have Pele, ignite your creative fire. Now, what's interesting is that one of the things that I was given by one of the members of the trip, Dawn from Holistic Atlanta. She gifted us all with journals for our experience, and mine was creativity. So here with the chakra colors, right? So ignite your creative fire. I'm very excited to see what Goddess Pele has to say. And Okay, if I could spell, I could find the page. Okay. Goddess Pele is the goddess of fire, lightning, dance, volcanoes, and violence. Like Goddess Kali, Pele is also a destroyer of the old to bring resurrection and rebirth. Like a volcano's lava that creates new land, the goddess Pele reminds us that even fiery eruptions and emotional upheavals are followed by new life and change. As an archetype, Goddess Pele is a passionate and creative force who transforms and rebuilds the landscape of our lives. The alchemical process ignites change to bring about a spiritual transformation. Pele invites you to set your soul on fire by adopting a passion for transforming and healing. Healing generated by creative joy is the best. Pele says, the passion of a strong creative drive can set you free to explore who you are and what makes you unique as an individual. Explore your creative fire. You may have picked this card to remind yourself that your inner journey is most important now. You may have recently broken up with a spouse or partner. Know that creative energy is sexual energy and that your focus now ought to include expressing your sexual energy, not through sex, but through the development of your inherent creative gifts. Inspiration is the medicine of passion, sweet ones. Ignite your passion and with aliveness, stay inspired and invigorated in healthy ways. Keep your spark for life strong with fiery enthusiasm. Keep your rising passions for creative expressions churning and dancing within. Goddess Pele. Goddess Pele represents the fire and passion of the divine feminine emanating through creation. A message from Pele comes forth. Fiercely and passionately recreate yourself. Do not tone down your expression. Embody your divine feminine energy and express it creatively and to the fullest. All right. Let the fires be ignited so that you can spark and give birth. This is beautiful. Now, one thing I noticed is that when I got home, this card was actually overturned. And so as I was looking at it, I was like, wow, because part of our experience in Shasta, we were in a vortex and with a grid that was a Merkaba, Star of David. We actually stood within that structure and connected with a ley line vortex energy. And here we have a pregnant mother image as well. And then the message is Kundalini Awakening. I see, you can see here this solar fire energy, and it's almost like even going down and fusing into the womb space. So I have to read this just because I believe that if I see something, it's meant for me to see it. And of course, if it's something that is meant for you to hear, it will resonate. If it doesn't resonate, that is fine as well. All right. Kundalini Awakening says the art image depicts the magical origins of humanity with sacred symbols and the Hebrew phrase from the Song of Solomon. The Hebrew phrase on the painting reads, I am my beloved's and my beloved is mine. The Song of Solomon is an Old Testament text regarded as a love poem with deeply spiritual significance. Christ, Yeshua, or Jesus, and Mary Magdalene included this poem in their wedding ceremony. The Wiccan five-pointed star is intertwined with the Star of David to symbolize the union of divine masculine energy and divine female energy, not separate but equal and woven together. This symbolic snakes represent the Kundalini energy rising up the spine. Kundalini energy activation is very often a part of the twin flame awakening process. The rising Kundalini energy facilitates the union with your beloved twin flame. Do not be in fear of this mysterious and intense mystical experience. It is your birthright as a child of God. Many people have had Kundalini awakenings spontaneously. For some people, it happens gradually with a concentrated effort through the spiritual practice of Kundalini yoga or through a guru. For some, it is meeting one's twin flame that activates the Kundalini to rise. And so I have added the telling of one woman's experience below. I felt a distinct opening in my heart very clearly. In an amazing, powerful surge of energy, the Kundalini shot through me along my spine like a pulse of liquid fire. The energy surge shot out of my heart, then up the center of my body, and then up towards the top of my head. I involuntarily arched my back, my body pulsating as intense waves of bliss came over me. It was so pleasurable that it was almost painful, like an ache, like a longing, a reaching out, a desire and vulnerability, like how I would feel perhaps all the time if I dropped all of my defenses and let myself go. It felt wonderful, very alive and very real, and it jolted my inner core alive. I felt my twin flame's presence transform into a million particles of colored lights that rained down on me and felt like complete bliss. We melded together. We were one. It felt like my whole being climax, not just physically, although it felt like that too, but literally my whole being, every single atom within every single cell within me, from my smallest toe to the deepest corners of my brain, climaxed, and it was pure bliss. I saw the interconnectedness and non separation of everything, and I experienced myself as part of the one, swimming through a universe of non duality, emerging into the sublime absolute realm of the divine. I felt an outpouring of love and compassion for all, and the deep realization that the other is really me. I traveled through the universe, seeing galaxies being created from within my own being, feeling the intense closeness of God. I knew that I was responsible for my own wholeness as the love that I am. Love is all there is. From an anonymous female twin flame. Explore awakening your Kundalini and discover if there are blockages to clear. Try placing serpentine or aurora quartz at the root chakra to stimulate the Kundalini to rise up to the base of the spine. All right. So this is so interesting, igniting the fires and igniting the Kundalini and being able to give birth through the sacred fires of this particular chakra. And it's just so beautiful seeing these images, and the messages today are just as timely as the images were prior to that. And so I know that there was a deep activation that happened at Mount Shasta, and there's still a lot to process for myself. And I know that other folks who were on the trip. So I will be sharing more information about this trip and some of the things that we experienced in future readings, plus sharing all of the amazing things that I encountered in the way of new spiritual tools and products along the way. So thank you to those who traveled with me. And I hope that these messages were just as igniting for you as they were for me. Namaste.